Change is not easy. It requires patience and time. But more importantly, it requires the will and pressure to change. It's not a pleasant experience. But if you are willing, the rewards are great. You just need a little courage to enter The Forge. A Christian movie, there's no doubt about that. But I suppose when Metal, your 19-year-old son, is still at home with no job and simply playing video games all day, every day, you need to take some drastic measures.
You are my son, but I'm giving you 1 month to find a job, or you can find one of your little friends that's gonna let you sleep on their couch for free.
Luckily for Metal, though, Godsmith has noticed how unprepared Metal is for real life, and is willing to take Metal under his wing, give him a job, and tutor him in the ways of the world, and how to be a true Christian man. And if Metal is willing, then maybe, just maybe, he can become the man God always knew he could be. Meanwhile, we do have shady organization in the background, slowly taking clients away from Godsmith's business, and it will force him to close down if things don't change quickly. Don't worry about that organization though, they just hang out in the background like King Galbatorix, not really being a part of the story. It's simply another test for Metal and a way to show us how much he's grown throughout the rest of the movie. That's what these kinds of movies are, struggling internally to overcome your own weaknesses. It's what defines Metal's character throughout the entire movie, but it feels rushed. These internal struggles are so quickly overcome that they feel more like an inconvenience than anything else. And for a movie like this to function well, you need really good internal conflict. Something for Metal himself to really get over as he slowly becomes God's sword. It's actually a little bit insane how quickly Metal pushes through these impurities, even when his life revolved around them before. It makes it not as sad or depressing as a lot of Christian movies tend to be. In fact, this one is a lot more upbeat and hopeful about everything. But it also makes it less compelling, which is a bit of a shame because the characters themselves are there. The relationship between Godsmith and Metal is great. It's the basic father-son, not son, mentor to the fatherless kid dynamic that's been played out in several movies now, but it's played out for a reason. It works really well together. And it still does in this movie too. Mama herself is obviously frustrated with her son and is having a hard time pushing him to be a grown adult while still showing that she loves and cares for him. It all works and flows really well together. However, the movie tends to lose a lot of its tension the longer it goes on, and becomes more like a church sermon than an actual movie. Don't get me wrong, there are great life lessons and a good message in this movie, but as we know from previous failures, a message does not necessarily translate to a movie. There's nothing wrong with a good church sermon, and if you want to view one, this movie is going to be right up your alley. It's probably more entertaining than most tend to be anyway. But I go to the movies for a good story, and this one has a bit of trouble fitting the bill. It's not a bad movie, but it does get a little bit meh the longer you go along, as you realize the trials and tribulations are paper thin. But if you want, you could probably wait until this meh movie comes out to streaming.